All right, I've got a 2019 Club Car Tempo, and it seems like a common problem with these are these Club Car factory USB ports quit working. So I've got the cart in run, turn it to on. I'm not getting any voltage reading out of either one of the ports. Turn the cart off. I'm going to place it in the tow, and we're going to take off this cover and see what we've got on the back side of that. So if I'm doing anything with the electrical system on the golf cart, you find your run tow switch underneath the seat. Just flip that down and that'll place it into tow mode. All right, to remove the front panel, it's 3 screws. 2 T30 screws, and then up here at the top you've got 1 T15 screw. The dash will come loose, just kind of move it down and it will come free. Looks like you've got a red and black wire that leads up to that plug. And I think I see what the problem is with mine. Looks like this has it's gotten wet. This was a club from a golf course. You think these are getting hosed off quite a bit. So it looks like that's just corroded over time, and that's come loose. Let's see, if you had to replace this, feels like there's just a couple retainers, and this is hard to get up to. We'll see if we can take this whole thing out, if that's your problem, if this unit's gone bad. Yeah, so it just kind of rocked that back and forth, and it looks like this whole unit will come out. Here's part numbers if you are wanting to replace this with the factory one. You could probably find one off of Amazon if your unit's bad, and that would fit in that hole as well. All right, there's a few different ways you could make this repair. I'm going to stick with the factory style connectors, but if you wanted to, you could just use one of these cheaper butt splices and splice the 2 wires back together. But I like the idea of still being able to disconnect it if needed. So on this end of the wire, this is my piece that went bad, so I'll be replacing that with this male disconnect. And then on the wire harness that still comes from the cart, it's going to need the female disconnect for that. Then either need some crimpers with wire strippers, or you definitely try and want to get a wire stripper with the correct gauge. I believe that's 16 gauge wire, but you could also crimp these with needle nose if you didn't have the actual crimpers. Alright, so I'm going to grab my wire that I need to put the new end on. You see these two aren't exact, but they match up pretty well. So I need this wire to go in about that far, so I need to strip back about 1/4 inch of the wire. So I'm going to find here 16 gauge, slot and strip that out. I'm going to twist this a little bit. And I insert my crimp end. Take my crimpers and give it a couple good squeezes, and then tug on that wire to make sure it's seated in there really good. On the cart side, this is the bad connector that I've got to replace, and the spade from the other connector is actually broken off and stuck in there. So with this, all I'm going to do is cut this off as close to that connector as I can. And then I'll need to strip off about 1/4 of an inch from this as well. Give that a twist. Put the female connector on and then crimp that in place. Make sure it's on there good. And now we'll reroute this switch back through. And black to black. And your red to red. Just going to kind of set this in place now, and we'll give it a test before we put all the screws back in. All right, got the golf cart switched back in to the run position. Turn it to on. Run our tester, and we have power. 5.09 volts. I'm not sure if the camera picks that up or not. And 5.09 volts. I'll turn it back off, and we'll go ahead and reinstall this cover. Just kind of follow these guides in here. Put our top T15 screw in. And our 2 T30s. Let's go ahead and press that plug back in place, and that'll complete this repair. Thank you for watching.